the characters that you play, any short-term, medium-term, long-term goals, maybe even a little bit of context behind this game, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, so context behind this. I was playing in a streamer tournament. I am currently ranked diamond. I was one of the lower players in these lobbies. And I typically only play May, but I've recently been trying to play some Sim. So this has like 2 rounds of Sim, I think, because I feel like Sim is very good on Lijiang,
All right.
because TP is so valuable. So I was trying to learn how to play Sim in this specific match.
Yeah, I guess, like, I mean, that's fairly interesting because I don't actually even see much May or Sim. But what are your goals when you play Sim, I guess, in the mirror or in this matchup here? Obviously, you don't know specifically what comp they're going to be running, but what things are you
Um,
looking for?
I think primarily my initial goal was just when I first rolled out, I was just planning on playing Sim to get the TP onto point for first fight, and then if it didn't go well, I was just gonna switch back to Mei.
Right, right.
Uh, but I think my general goal for Sim is probably I know I didn't really do much of it in the first round, but is to try and care about my positioning or just like harass people and be create a really good off angle.
Yeah, so this what I'm seeing between your comp and the enemy comp, there's like two things that I'm seeing. The first one is like the tempo of the pace of the play in terms of how fast you want to be playing, if you want to be playing a long fight or a shorter fight, things like that. So the two key things here I'm seeing are the Zarya versus the Ram and the Genji versus the Mei over here. Now, Zarya is really, really, really good and really strong in super long, drawn out fights because she can get super high charge, and if she's in the mid fight on high charge and she can live, then she's really, like, really potent and really dangerous and pretty hard to kill. Conversely, if these guys get a good cycle with the Ram wall, the Ram and the Ram Nemesis and the Mei wall, then it's going to be tough for your Zarya to even do anything, and there's a good chance that she dies as well. So the main thing I'm looking at is trying to bait. And I've used this term a lot when I talk about my videos, but when I say baits, I mean if your Zarya gets pressured out, and actually I saw a team called Lucky Cats who are in Face It experts, they run like a Sim Zarya comp as well, but essentially whenever the Zarya got pressured out a lot, either by a Winston or just getting brawled upon or whatever the case may be, she always got TP'd back and they would re-push after their TP and the Zarya would be high charge. So your main win cons here are, can I center my kit around helping my Zarya win in the mid fight? Can I center my kit around trying to relieve pressure off of the Mei wall and the Ram cycle? And can I also potentially look for backline pressure when my Zarya is high charge? So if your Zarya like lives in the mid fight, considering you're running Genji and these guys are running Ana and Juno, Ana and Juno are a very notoriously squishy backline, so you can essentially TP back in with your Genji, or like you can TP onto the backline, your Genji can go in, you can send a few turrets through, and just essentially zone or even dive and fully pressure out that backline. So yeah, we'll see what goes on here, but what the main things I'm looking at is maybe a TP to, if your Zarya is playing pretty far up, you can TP your Zarya out, or you can TP around the map to try and flip it so you can avoid that Ram mate. We'll see what goes on here, but yeah. Because worst thing that could happen here is like you guys get walked on by a Ram mate and your Zarya just gets blown up and dies, and you're in a 4v5 that's really hard to win. So we'll see how that goes out here. Okay. Okay, beaming Ram, sure. So this is a little bit greedy, but I can see why you're doing this because they haven't TP'd to support themselves here, and I think this might be a little bit of a mistake on your backline's part, where if you wanna rush onto take a 5v3 here essentially onto these guys here, your backline needs to be rotating up with that. So I'm not gonna blame you too much for this here. It's more so just a playstyle difference. You can either, again, your backline, there's two things your backline can do: either stalemate and match the Juno Mei, which you can easily do with turrets and your Genji here, or you can rush it down, and that's what you're trying to do here. But I'm going to expect your backline to suffer a little bit here, if not get traded
Yeah,
out.
I get a bit too greedy here and get a bit too close to the ram and die for it, I think.
Right, and you can see that the aggression being I would not be surprised if you died to the ram here, right? Because you can
Yeah.
see the aggression being split from your backline, who are essentially trying to stalemate and AFK, and you guys are trying to push forward here, which is not great. And this kind of shows me that your mindset on Sim is I just wanna run it down, you know. I wanna hold my W key and just run it down on the ram marcher, but the game's more complicated than that. And your comp isn't even built for that either. So yeah, like if you wanted to really run it down, you'd be running.
Yeah, I think the reason I went so aggro here, especially, is just because I saw the anti ram in the corner, and I was like,
Oh
he
right,
should die
yeah.
for this.
And again, like I guess that's like a tunnel vision thing where like again you see the
Yeah,
van
I got a
low
bit
and
tunnel
whatnot.
visioned on it.
And you've got no idea what's going on with your backline.
Yeah.
So
I should have looked.
yeah, I'm not because you were in a not in a ranked match here, but I assume your backlane was saying Juno made to the right or like calling out for help or something like that. And that's what again your character can do that fairly easily. You can put turrets and mark this angle. You can stalemate the Ramartra, force him in the corner. As long as you guys can live, like you and your Zarya, it's actually not that bad. Because you can 3v2 this angle and that's fine. And as long as you guys can live, then you know the Ram's not going to be doing anything when he's low HP without Nemesis. So yeah, just live here essentially. It's kind of your mindset. Okay. Yeah, and then of course you get your dead out there, which is not great. Okay, and that's literally just mindset, you know, like it's awareness on the flank, and then awareness on what your comp was built to do. Again, if you're running like the best comp I can give an example of this that we saw fairly recently is Malga Lucio Juno. That comp is just built to run past angles, and if they have a 2-man split, you run past it. But yeah, you're not running that. You're playing a much slower comp compared to theirs.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see here. Unfortunately, actually, let's see what goes on with your Zarya down here, because I'm curious to see what happens to your core here. Because you do call a ram here. Like, the trade should be fine, in theory, but... Yeah, your backline just zoned out, and then your Zarya gets run over. Okay, makes sense. Okay, let's speed it up here. And see next fights. Okay. Sure. Fine. Okay. So the way you approach neutrals here is going to be a little bit rough because you're essentially running a comp where the way I normally see V-takes, your Genji will go on a flank, you'll have a 3-2 split, very similar to what they did actually. Like your Genji will go on a flank with a support, and then your Genji will just draw aggro, and then essentially forces the team to make a move, which is kind of what they did. But in that comp, in the comp that you're running, it's going to be hard to do, because you're going to have to invest your Juno coming out to help your Genji do that, and it's normally a Lucio. So we'll see what goes on here. For you, I'm expecting a TP, some sort of TP while your Genji pincers, so like maybe you walk down here in this direction down main, you TP on backline, like maybe from here to here, try and pressure out the Ana, the Juno, your Genji flanks as well, and that could be a good cycle, but we'll see what goes on here. Hopefully you don't TP to point, which I don't think you're gonna do. Are you TPing to point?
No, right now I'm just trying to play safe because I didn't know where the rest of their
Oh,
comp
okay,
was.
sure.
And
makes sense.
yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Hyper ring out, Vortex out. TP makes sense. I don't mind the TP. Obviously, you haven't got the perk yet, but I think it's fairly reasonable. What might be the only thing I'd be concerned about with the TP?
They're not in cover. It's just I feel like that was a big problem.
Right. So you're out in open space, and the TP is also out in open space too. I'm concerned about what your Genji's going to be doing, because I don't know. This is not a good angle for him, really.
Oh, the timing, yeah.
Yeah, the timing of it, yeah. So, like, I'm not sure if this guy wanted to wait a little bit longer to, like, flank around a little bit more. But I would have actually at least looked at what he's doing and then used my TP in the corners of that, yeah.
I think my initial plan here was to TP in and then have Zar bubble me to try and get her charge, but I'm not sure if it works out. I can't remember.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, you can do it with a Genji. Like, again, that's the point of your comp, you know? Like, you can just play slow, like, your Zarya will get charged off your Genji, and then the mid-fight, Zarya will just beam everyone down and kill everyone, so... Yeah, you don't need to be doing that on Sim. Oh, that's scary. Yeah, and, like, that's... again, at the very least, there I would have. I like you. I like of you to TP a little bit later, so your Genji can juggle aggro while you're TPing in, and also play a little bit closer to where you can put a TP on high gun or something, or just within cover. So you're not having to go out in open space there, because frankly, you probably should have died there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, and now like you can literally look at this, right? Because now you actually want to walk in because your Zarya's going in, the Ram's got form. Now you actually want to be looking for beam, but because you went in too early and you're low HP, you can't do that. So the mistiming there is not particularly great. Okay, Ram slept. You got TP in 2. Walls out. Okay, where should you TP to now?
Probably the doorway
Yes.
that I can see across. Yeah,
Right.
and then try and pressure out the Ana.
Yeah, so you can just put a turret down on the floor, TP bomb the Ana, and then TP through, get out to 1 HP. Very easy, very simple. Like honestly, you could just ignore everything else going on right now, and that should be a free kill. So we'll see what you do here. Okay. Okay, so you don't do that. Zarya gets the Ana for you. So I guess the question then becomes, why do you not spot the Ana being split here, and why do you not TP? Because when I asked you, you pretty much did it without hesitation. Like you told me without hesitation here.
Uh, honestly, I think it was just nerves.
Oh yeah, no,
Just
okay, I see what you mean. Because you last time you almost died when you did the TP
yeah,
cycle.
and
Okay,
as I said before, I knew going into this that I was one of the lower ranked players, so I wasn't fully confident in my abilities.
right. It's funny because like I feel like whenever you play against high ranked players, that should be like your limit test to see what you can really get away with. Because whenever you're going against,
Yeah,
you're punching upwards, that's like a test to see. Okay, this might work in theory. Let's see if it actually works. Against these like level of players. So
I think I think here I definitely just saw the ram shield and I was just like I can just get beam charge off of this.
yeah,
I'm
it's
just gonna
easy
stay
to
here for
do.
now.
It's easy.
Yeah,
It's safe to do. You can just get beam charge, right? And the thing is, like, it's not even like mutually exclusive to what you could do here as well. You know, you don't even need to necessarily go through the TP. You can just TP, and then the
yeah,
honor is going to look at it. She will.
just the threat.
Yeah,
Just the threat would
exactly,
be
right?
enough.
And
Yeah.
then that gives you enough time to beam the ram, and then the honor's not looking at the ram, etc. You win that frontline trade. You get beam charge. Your Zaya gets beam charge, and then you win the long fight. So that would have been nicer to see. Okay, let's see here. Okay.
Yeah, this was
And then,
unfortunate. I
yeah.
misread where the blizzard was. I thought it was on the inside and walked back out into it.
Yeah. Bit unfortunate there. I mean, again, it's also a mindset thing too, where had you known their Blizzard or had you ult tracked it as a team, you've already got TP. You can just take TP and
I
leave
just
it
TP
anyways,
out,
you know?
yeah.
Whereas again here, you're a little bit frazzled by what's going on. So yeah. The good thing here at least is that you're unlike your target priority, you're going on top of the Mei, forcing out cryo early, which is good. You can get the trait, which is good as well. But you obviously misread the little blizzard thing, and then now you're gonna get frozen and die. Or maybe you live actually. Okay, no you don't. But yeah. So really, like, especially when I see like this kind of elo, like low diamond, like high plat, low diamond, even master to some extent too, is missed opportunities. And so far, we've seen this missed opportunity going on top of the Iana, a missed opportunity to escape the blizzard, a missed opportunity or rather an extended opportunity, I should say, to on top of the ram when there's a backline, like your backline's getting destroyed by a Juno Mei on the angle, and then again like a mindset thing in terms of okay, this is our comp. This is what we're playing for. This is the style or tempo that we should be looking for. These are our win cons, which is Zarya B mid-fight, Sim B mid-fight, GG. But yeah, so far it hasn't. Again, your Zarya hasn't lived in the mid-fight, and neither have you. So we'll see what goes on here. Okay. Yeah, I haven't got your plucks yet either, so we'll see what goes on here. Okay, hypering out. More than 20. Okay. TP's fine. Yeah, this is much better already, you know? Like, your Zarya's high charge, walking forward bubble, Ram's and Nemesis too. Only thing I'd say is your Genji is being dumb, but again, that's probably going to him, not you. So far, so good. I'm fine with this. Okay, high noon, don't go through the TP, obviously. You peek it, nice.
Oh yeah, I do something dumb there.
Don't TP, don't TP, don't. Okay.
No, I just forget Ram can go through wall.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, like again here, it's really I see this a lot with nano boost timings as well. Or like people think that, oh yeah, if I just press Q, I'm gonna win the fight. Even I do it when I'm playing Malgo with Cage, and it's really like you need to understand when you've bitten off more than you can chew, because High Noon's been used, Annihilation's been used, Nano's been used. Wall Wall is useless into that, right? But B, again, relating back to the whole mindset thing about you want a long fight. This is why you want a long fight, because if you can lift the Annihilation and the Nano boost and the High Noon, this fight's easy. You just will point and win. But again, because you're going too greedy, or you're looking for instant value now when there's none to be had.
Yeah, I'm just being impatient.
Exactly, you know, like what should be the call here from you or your team generally?
Just disengage.
Yeah,
Honestly.
leave, disengage, play slow, leave, fuck off, kite, whatever you want to say, you know? But the point being is that your tempo needs to be halted to a minimal stop. You can't be using resources now. So yeah. Of course, like, it would have been hard to escape the ram anyways, right? But again, maybe your Zari kites back and then bubbles you or something, and then you can leave based off of that, or your Juno hyperings you out, or something like that. Maybe your Arna sleeps the ram too and makes it hard for him to walk. Whatever the case may be, like, the point here is your backline run, and then your Zari can zone or like hold his space, and then she can live and play this corner here maybe. That's fine, and then you guys can repush the wall, and that's a GG fight. Now you're good. You even get TP back. I didn't even know that. You actually got TP back there. But yeah, the team's mindset in general needs to be looking for the long fight. Okay. Let's see. Okay, the Vine speeds, sure. Okay. And let's see here. Okay, let's put your PV. Okay, Nano and your Genji, probably not needed. Okay. Fine. Okay. Alright, cool. Next fight should be fairly easy. Like, again, you already want a long fight, and there's multiple reasons why you want a long fight. A, the comp that you're playing naturally suits for it. B, you want a long fight to get more percentage. And C, you can just... Oh, you already used wall. I didn't even realize that. I thought you already had it. My brain just skipped that. Where do you use wall?
I used wall last fight when the
Oh yeah, no, I'm just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, had you had wall that would have been even better. But orbital ray, same kind of idea. But yeah, we'll see what goes on here. Okay. Alright. Of course, we haven't really talked about your turrets that much. How should you be using your turrets against enemy comp?
Honestly, I would either turret bombing the backline or just having them somewhere so I have information about where they are.
Yeah. I'll give you this little nugget of information. So I used to coach a sim tracer team, a sim ball tracer OTP team, which is insane. And a part of the macro was our sim and our tracer would a tracer would play in spaces where the sim can actually help the tracer with turrets. So what I'm saying here is you could essentially have your Genji have a win any duel that he wants to with the turrets. So for example, maybe he wants to control this angle and you put a turret here. He can control the space entirely and fall back to the turret where that can actually help in the duel. And then also you can help as well because you can just fire orbs here when you get that scouting information. So it's something that you might want to keep in mind of. Or if you're playing unconventional flanker comps with double flex, something applies to Venture, Trace obviously that I just mentioned, and Genji as well. But yeah, you can essentially take your turrets are like half a person, so to say, and you can have like 1.5 versus 1 in terms of like your duels. But yeah, we'll see how I'm not actually how to use them here. Yeah, okay, just on the choke. I think it's fine. Somewhat.
Just car wash.
yeah. I don't mind it because they're not running any flankers. They're running slow hit scans, or they were running Mason at the beginning. So yeah, they're not running any flankers here. So I don't mind putting your turrets here on the choke. But generally, what I say is, if you're playing into that anyways, you just have 1 or 2, and then an extra turret on the flank like that or something. But yeah, we'll see how it goes here. And you pick the range on the CP. Okay, fine. Alright. Oh, this is not great. I mean, Arna's playing in a dogshit position, so I'm not going to cry you too much for this, right? But
I also just run in the open.
Yes.
In front of their entire team.
You run straight out in the open in front of their entire team. And if I'm these guys, I'm like, oh shit, there's a sim who's just feeding right now in open space. Do you even take any damage for this? You don't, but your Zarya
No.
does. And then Nada could have hit you there for sure. So you get very lucky there, and against a better team, you would have, without a doubt, gotten punished by Nada or something. So yeah, of course your Honor's in a dumb position, and you can't even TP her out. Again, normally
Yeah, I
when in
didn't
these
have
comps, yeah, you can't. You've got no OS. So normally, again, when you're playing a bait comp with Sim, you'll be the one TPing your team out, but not the case here, sadly. So yeah, honestly, I would have just let your Honor die. To punish them for being a dumbass, but I'm speaking of that. The Cassius feeds. You feed her as well. Let's see. Okay, so
yeah, I get way too tunnel visions on this
when
kill.
when you're here and the Ram walks out, and he D peaks, what can you do? There's like three
I
options for your
could
team.
TP to deepen my angle on and get like shoot them from behind kind of thing.
Right, so yeah, you can TP like probably don't even need to necessarily go through it, just to buy attention for your team, and buy time. You can TP on the Honor, and then again, don't even need to go through it. Just make people turn, and that relieves pressure off your Zarya, or you can just run away and go back to point. That's also another thing you can do as well, and then maybe set up a CP for your Honor coming back from spawn or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, basically the point being, slow down the fight. You and your Zarya need to live. Like, you and your Zarya need to live to have any chance of winning this back. But you get way too greedy here for the cast, you know? And it's like, the trade, even you getting this cast, it's not worth your life. It's not worth your Zarya's life. It's not worth the trade. Because that's your win con. Your win con is orbital ray, mid-fight, high beam charge from both you and your Zarya. But, yeah, now that's gonna be harder to do. Okay. The Genji Blade, solo, I mean, this is a ridiculous blade. Same idea, like, you should have died there, but the trade's not worth it. Okay. I mean, it looks like you guys might win this. The Genji catches the... yeah, somehow. Very fortunate, you don't even need to use orbital ray for that. Okay. We'll see this fight. Okay. Okay. And this is why you need to be on co-side, right? This is what I was kind of alluding to earlier, or at the very beginning, where your Zarya will get hard pressured by a Ram plus Mei plus a whatever ultimate that they're using. TP needs to be on top of your Zarya. Like, TP needs to be... she can back up with bubbles, right? She can TP from, like, here to co-side, off the screen. And now, I would be very shocked if your Zarya lives this. I would be extremely shocked. No way she lives that. Yeah, she dies, right? And that's the point of your comp, you know? It's to bait. It's to bait the aggression from their front line. So yeah, but unfortunately, you were down main a little bit too much. I mean, it might be one of those effective mistakes, admittedly, for you dying a bit early there. But yeah, you had plenty of time. But yeah, you had so much time to get back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I was trying to stay here because Arana wasn't going coast, and I didn't want her to just die again, just get ran out and die.
Right,
so I stayed, tried staying with the Ana here, and then the Zarya gets punished for me being with the.
Yeah,
the Ana.
Because you are playing Sim Zarya here, I know some people on Lucky Cat, I might DM them and try and get codes from them from scrims or face it, because again, I think it might be insightful to look at how someone like Fairy Tail, who's fucking rank 14 I think on Sim, or was rank 14 on Sim, plays the character a lot more, because you've already lost this fight before it's even started, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, let's see. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be winnable, really, to be honest, but we'll see. Yeah, and again, this orbital ray would have been so nice if your Zarya just lived. It would have been so amazing, because they're all committed right now, and then you can use Zarya just beam an orbital ray. It's just the freest fight win of your life. But yeah. Okay, now you have to play for these messy ass trades, which you might get, might not. Yeah. I mean, a small thing there is just to try and look for a trade onto the Juno. That's your wrong Juno. Onto their Juno. When your Zarya dies in orbital ray. Only thing I could say that could have maybe swung this fight. But yeah. And then that's next point. Okay. So yeah, pretty much everything so far. There's really two main things, right? The main thing has been like a greedy mindset so far, in terms of you overextending for kills, like we saw first fight, and as we saw into the Castiers too, and then also not understanding how to bait or play slow with TP, but also even amp up the tempo with TP for timed TP bombs as well, you know, going onto the Ana that we saw onto the second fight, and then you also get ran over by a Ram, which is not great as well. So it's really the mindset with what you're thinking on Sim, and the game sense, I'd say, in general, is a little bit off. But yeah, we'll see how this next point goes. Arista now. Any other changes? Okay.
Yeah. As I said, I'm not usually playing Sim. This is like
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
new pickup.
I'm
I'm usually just a Mayo TP, so I was trying to get in the swing of things.
Yeah, I think it is useful to ask yourself like, what's my team playing for? Not even just you, because again, like Zarya should generally be seen as a character that wants to play a long fight, and you are also a character that wants to play a long fight for Beam. So yeah, I think here as well, things don't change too much, mainly because of the Mei and the Ram cycle is still up from their team, and your Orisa can still be strong in the long fight anyways. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, okay. Of course, TP to point, because that's what everyone does. Okay. Alright. Alright, fine. Okay. Okay. And this is where I was, so first off, there's two things here. Your wrist should be holding a bit closer because the Ram should not be able to just walk through you here. I actually liked your positioning to begin with. I like you standing here and firing orbs because if they go for a Ram cycle on top of your Orisa, which is the most likely person, then you're fine. You're actually safe. You've got plenty of distance away. And actually, if I go to a POV here and I zoom out a little bit, I guess the question becomes like, why walk forward here when your Orisa is walking backwards?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, because like,
I just don't think I was aware that my Orisa was disengaging.
right.
I just assumed that we would want to pressure them.
Right, right. Because like if your Orisa is on this corner, what you're doing is actually fine because all the aggression is going to go onto your Orisa. But now, like she's fully DP'd and it's literally free.
Yeah,
It's
all the
completely
attention's
free.
on me.
Exactly, it's completely free to go onto you because everyone's going to be looking at you now. So yeah, and the Ram should have killed you, to be honest. Almost ended up dying there. Good news, actually maybe not good. Maybe I spoke too soon. Don't die. No. Okay, good news is that you lived. So now hopefully you've got a decent beam charge and you should be able to repush. The Ram's got no cycle and you should finish this Ram cycle anytime soon. Wall's been used. They're out in open space. What can you look for here?
TP bomb into backline,
Yes. So
and then I can
and then
pressure front line with the high beam.
There we go, right? So that's the general cycle. You can TP behind, draw attention, and then your Orisa walks forward, boom, done, bob's your uncle. And that should generally be the fight. So we'll see if you do that. Okay. Okay. Okay, you kind of do it. It's a bit late as well because again, your Orisa should be walking in here. Maybe because she already wasted 4 or 5 for no reason. But yeah, I guess the question becomes like, why not TP? Like again around this corner, around this area, like around about here.
Honestly, I think I think my goal was to just try and play the TP in cover so that I wouldn't just get destroyed like I did on the first point.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
I
can
was
see
trying to
that.
do it a bit safer.
Yeah, of course,
Especially
like,
with the cast, and I didn't want to get like hindered and just pop.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say when, if you're playing any other character, like, I mean, also you're Mayo TP, so this is gonna be less applicable. But like, I wouldn't have minded you to like actually physically take this angle here, because especially from someone like Genji. But of course, you want to get beam charged, so you kind of need to stay here anyways. My issue is like for this TP to get value, you need to play like a Genji, like you need to actually go through. But again, that means that you're not gonna get beam charge, which is my main issue with the TP. But yeah. Like, is anyone gonna be looking? I mean, maybe Anna's a bit AFK here, so maybe you can like zone her out, right? But yeah, I think that TP could have been a little bit better and a little bit earlier. Okay, Anna's got no awareness. I would have TP'd immediately back. Yeah, this is way too greedy. So yeah, that's insane. You should already be TPing back out right now to avoid steep dart. Like she should have stepped you here by sure, or for sure. Very lucky. But this is, in terms of like what you're doing here, like you're zoning off the Ana, like this is good pressure. In terms of like again what you're doing with TP, I would have just liked to see you beam the enemy Ramatcha right now. When again cycles are over, and then you know your Genji can like follow up on the kills, or your Genji can be the one to zone backline. And then you can just walk forward and burn frontline. So yeah, I'm sure like you've heard of the turn and burn in my videos before.
Yes.
Right. In this situation, it's you and your Orisa burn the front line and take a 4v2, or 4v3, depending on the Cassidy, and then your Genji's the one who's going to be zoning out around the backline here. So yeah, of course you can do it a bit with TP, but that's not your main goal. TP is just like an additional thing you can do as well. But yeah. Okay. Because I'm looking at. Yeah, this is a good thing to look at. I should be looking at your front line here. Okay. Yeah, like this mage should nowhere should this mage should be walking up this far. You know, that should not be happening. Ram's also like fairly far up too. Juno is feeding our brains out all my days. Like, yeah, like,
so many missed opportunities because I'm not there.
Yeah. And in this entire time, you've spent time trying to fucking orb an Ana. Which, by the way, your Genji's better at doing. Your Genji's way better at pressuring backline than you are. So yeah, it's a little bit, again, I guess this relates back to the greed and television thing, right? Where you're a little bit greedy going for the Ana here. And again, I don't mind TPing, that's fine. Just a little bit greed, a little bit too greed. Because again, missing out the beam. Oh, that's scary. Yeah, the mate, when the mate hits him like this, you should die here. How are you alive? How are you alive? Okay, there we go. Finally does. But you should have died there like 3 different times. Like the Ana sleep, the mate icicles, the Juno fucking shooting you, the caster should have looked around you at you as well. Yeah. So I guess it's like a balance between the playstyles, and this is another way you can think about it. A balance between, do I go for backline or do I beam frontline? It's kind of the discussion going on. And again, I think the overwhelming answer to that is TP early and then beam mid fight. But we'll see how this goes. Okay.
My projects.
Have you finally got level 3 perk? Yes, you do. You get the extra beam range. I think that makes sense.
No.
Let's see here. Okay. Alright. I'm fine with your turrets there. Why TP now? And why TP here?
I TP now because I see my Orisha was pushing up, so I was gonna just try and yet again just get in the back line.
Yeah.
Just try and orb them, try and get some pressure on.
Yeah. So the timing of it might be fine because your Orisa might be looking to cause something like, oh guys, I want to play super fast, and then sure, that makes sense. I don't mind that. I don't mind you going in there. So timing there might not be an issue. My bigger issue is the TP placement itself. And again, you've got that range. Like you can literally just TP from here to fucking here, and you'll be fine. Or your TP will draw at least a ton of attention. So yeah, not particularly great. Okay, and yeah, your head's on the sofa right now. Okay, you do draw a lot of attention, which I do appreciate. But again, I feel like it's a missed role opportunity thing where now it's your Genji who's the one who's trying to burn the Ramatra.
Yeah.
It's like your roles should be swapped in a way where your Genji should be here actually because he's better at doing this, and you should be here because you're better at beaming frontline. So I'm not gonna cry at you for doing this because you are doing a lot here. You are drawing 3 people away. I'm just worried about what's going on with your frontline because these guys should be dead or getting their CDs forced out, but they're not because your Genji's not going to be doing much compared to a Sim Beam. But yeah, okay. I think in ranked, especially when you are going to learn to play Sim in ranked, doing this is great because you might be playing Sim with Sojin, and then in that case, you are the one who's going to be zoning backline here. So I think it's good that you are doing this playstyle. I just think, again, based on your comp, it's not what you should be doing here. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's case in point. But yeah. You drew 3 people away, and your Genji still died on frontline, you know? That character's not built for that. But yeah. Okay. I mean, now the fight's basically lost. They just push back in with the wall and probably Ram cycle as well. And it's looking good. Yeah, if only you've done this like 10 seconds ago, that would have been great. Okay. Small thing, but slight target priority here too. So I would immediately ignore this guy immediately and go on backline immediately. Because again, Annihilation is just you're not gonna do shit to it.
Yeah.
And also, this is stupid. Why do Juno players do this? And it's crazy as well because you mentioned earlier that this is like a high lobby, but like even in these kind of elos, you'll get against players that will just do they'll walk out in open space like this, and they're very 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 punishable. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, and of course you lose that. Okay.
I think the more egregious thing is the Ram using ult there. I don't think it was needed at all.
Probably Annihilation probably not needed.
And then our Kitsune was even worse.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I don't mind this retake. I don't mind you flanking around and trying to force point. I think this is smart. I would actually not mind you doing this for retakes, because again, walking down bridge is extremely hell. So, or extremely hellish, so that's fine. This map in general is extremely hard for retakes, because if you retake into White Room, or your team goes to White Room, you guys have got no angle pressure. But going to bridge means you can get booped up the map, and they can just play point. So it's really, really tough. But I think this play you do, which is the flip map, and take point, and force it, is really good. Honestly, it's the best thing you've done so far, so really happy with this. Okay? Again, I like how this is really good as well. I like how you're baiting. You're not actually walking forward with your wall, because your wrist is not there, and the blizzard here would have caught you. So I appreciate that as well. Okay, I think the angle is good as well. Yeah. So only major thing there is just your team over ult this, but barring that, I think this is pretty good. So no complaints. Good retake. Okay, let's see here. Alright.
Building a turret.
Okay. Okay.
My condition.
I see a TP again behind them, I'm gonna cry.
I think I do.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. They pop Bubbles Array. What should you and your team be doing?
It just disengaging.
Right, so you can either your Orisa can spin out and fortify out, or you can TP your Orisa away. So you can
Yeah,
play
TP them
you can
out.
play really, really baity, so maybe you play a little bit farther back. This is something that's really common on this round, on this point as well, where you'll see Kitsunes, you'll see Nanos, you'll see High Noons, you'll see Bap Windows, you'll see fucking Orbital Rays, you'll see tons of ults being used here on the retake, and it's super easy to kite it away once you know that. So yeah, you can literally just like again play. Maybe even here, right? But here's fine as well. TP your Orisa out, disengage it entirely, and then re-push with Orbital Ray. Fight's done, you win the fight, GG. I mean, maybe not GG because, you know, Nano boost and High Noon. But that might be coming down to you guys wasting ults beforehand. But yeah, that's how I would approach this fight for sure. We'll see how this goes though. Oh yeah, just don't fight into an Orbital Ray. I mean, somehow your team gets traded. I have no idea how. Yeah, because
I don't think they push up with it. Yeah.
They don't push the Ray. What's the Ray? Yeah, the Ray goes fucking nowhere. They just don't push the Ray. That's unfortunate. Yeah, and they walk out in open space. Yeah, that's what's up. Okay. Let's see next fight. Don't die. Okay. Alright. Okay, TP away. Okay, nice. That should be points. Okay, start to find the moment I'm marking the angle. Sure. Fine. Okay, get beam. Fine. Cool. Let's see next points. This one's going to be the most interesting because you're playing. You're going to play May here. Okay, interesting. Let's see how you play May. Alright. So the main things with I mentioned this beforehand, or not beforehand, but like in previous videos before, like a while ago. But essentially I guess the debate between warding first versus warding second in terms of what value you're going to be getting. Typically speaking, or generally what I see, whenever you wall first, you get more space. So you might want to wall early, and then your team can control White Room because of that. Conversely, walling second, the benefit to that is that you'll get a better split. So maybe
for this specifically, since we knew what they played, we knew that we could get there first anyway. So
right.
I don't end up walling it, but I know the plan initially was if they try and push us in White Room, I'd wall it.
Wall it, yeah. So you're already here from the get-go because of the sim, obviously, so that's reasonable. But yeah, we'll see how you use your wall here because I'm very curious. Okay. And again, in the long fight, you will win. So that's the mindset I'm looking at for your team as well. Okay, just fine, that works too. Just get the carry out of nowhere. Start with your wall. Okay. Yeah, so what's the issue here? What might be my concern?
I just haven't used the wall. There were so many opportunities.
Right. Like
I just don't use it.
I mean, I think part of the reason why you can't use it is because you can't see shit, right? Like the enemy team just back up out of your LOS, you know? So this is why actually I would have liked to see you go with your Zarya, and you've got this is the easiest wall of your life, you know? There's a wall behind them, so yeah, that's what I would have liked to see you do here. Because now you just can't wall anything. There's nothing to wall. Okay. Yeah, you said dinks, sure. Wall there finally. Doesn't catch anyone. Okay. Fortunately, your Juno dies, so I would have liked to see you guys hold close or bait close and then push back, or hold back, but it is what it is. Maybe your Juno gets back in time. Yeah, she does. Okay. This is fine positioning as well, but again, I want to emphasize that the goal of this position is not to fight here. It's to force cooldowns and burn time and kite back. Which is the main, I guess, the main way I want you to be playing this. I think. Yeah, I'll play this before I say anything, actually, because I'm gonna be a little bit scared. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this is exactly what I thought was gonna happen.
Way too greedy.
Way too greedy. Way too close. And have you got the Mayput? Yeah, you've got the extended range here too, right? So I would like to see you hold here, because you can still get the wall here anyways. Like, you can still wall this off regardless, but you've got more distance and an easier kite path compared to here, right? So you can still pressure this, you can still bait, you can still, you know, scare them from walking in. But again, if you hold here, you haven't got to close this distance here to essentially kite back. And I assume now you're probably going to die by you holding this close. So we'll see. But yeah, it looks like you're committing for this fight, which is not particularly what I want to see. Maybe if you actually give me a case, where might you want to hold closer? Where might this position that you're holding right now, where might that make sense?
I don't fully understand the question that's being asked.
Right, so like playing, so we've already established that playing here is, in this context, not good to playing here, because you'll get forced out by the ram and you're playing the bait, right? But what situations can you think of where playing here makes sense?
Maybe against like just a squishier tank in general, like
right. So less sustain from their comp. That's one of them.
Well, and when I'm playing with a character who prefers who has like faster cooldowns, like they don't have to charge up like the Zarya does.
Right, Malga makes sense. So Malga's an example of that. So yeah, comps is the biggest one. What about ults?
Oh, if I have Blizzard, because I can get out easily.
Right. Because the Blizzard here goes hard. And then yeah, just freezes the ram, etc. So those are the two cases where you might wanna actually consider playing a little bit closer. And again, that's the nuance of the game. That's the nuance of playing any character really. Is that contextually, I'm not gonna say this is a bad position to hold, because some cases it might be a good position to hold. But again, you need to be thinking about, okay, why am I holding this? You know. Have I got Blizzard? Clearly not. Have I got any other ultimates? Clearly not. Have I got a faster comp? Clearly not. So there's not really a big reason for me to play here. And again, I think this links back into the stuff we've been talking about the entire time about playing Sim, where you're looking to bait and play a long fight for your Zarya. It's kind of the same idea here. So here, just based off of that, you're probably gonna die. Okay. 140, 14 HP. Okay, I thought you were gonna let that for a second there. But yeah, like the fact that your frontline die, or you and your Zarya die first, it gives me a telltale sign of you guys aren't playing the comp correctly. But yeah. Okay, let's see here. I think it's very easy as well to sort of like default just hold W key and then we win the game. Which is easier for them because they're running RAM, but that's not your luxury, sadly. Okay. So this is gonna be tough for retakes. Normally on Sim it's just easy, you just TP around, whatever, right? How do you retake this on Mei?
I think the initial thought process I had was try and split their team, and then that's our opening, like a good wall splitting them.
Right. So I look at this choke similar to King's Row's second point attack, like under the alleyway.
Yeah.
I look at this because it's very similar to that, where it's super hard to take angles around the choke. So you can either wall off the Mei, and then that allows your team to walk. Obviously, you'll get counter-walled, but it will allow your team to get past the choke. Or you can look for a split. So you can zone off the backline here, maybe zone off the Juno, the Kiri, and the Sim are the most obvious characters, and then take a 5v2 on the front line. So we'll see how you use your wall here, but we'll see if you can actually get through the choke or not. Hypering. Okay, still poking. Wall. So yeah, not the greatest wall in the world because you only zone up the Juno. So I would like the wall to be
Yeah.
here, and then the Sims at the fight, the Junos at the fight, and then you just take a 5v3 onto the front line here. But yeah. Ooh, that's scary. And yeah, you get your Cryo Force because the Sims beaming you, and then what's your team? Yeah, your team needs to be able to. Oh, Zarya, you're way ahead of your Zarya. That's actually very weird. Where are you in accordance with your Zarya? Oh, okay, I see why now. So yeah, I would have again wall here and then beam here, and then you can just AFK with your Zarya. You should be okay. And yeah, you should be okay there. A little bit too greedy again. Okay. Let's go to your POV back. And you end up dying there, yeah. So it's way too greedy with the cryo. And that's why it's beam you as well. It is harder, so I'm not going to crowd you for this too much. But again, I think a more conservative wall, and again, just playing the force at the front line here is your main win condition. Yeah. I mean, even if you didn't die there, you probably would have died to like a blizzard or something after you get your cryo forced. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, good news. You have Grav. It's fairly okay if we can get a Tracer. Okay, let's see. The good news is that you haven't got to worry about the choke now. Oh, okay. Talk to me about this blizzard.
Honestly, I was just thinking I wanted to say about Genji here.
I mean,
Because I didn't want...
Yeah, I can see your thought process there. If a Genji dies, that's on him because he should not be feeding his brains up there. To be honest, and I think a blizzard there, like I understand why, is a split aggression and to make sure that they kite instead of chasing the Genji. But my issue here is that this blizzard is either not going to get much value or it's not going to get enough value, or it's not going to get. In other words, you would like to have it later for another fights. They already use Annihilation. They use their own blizzard here, and they're giving you the space. Like you basically won the fight here, right? Like you can get through the choke. They were already cutting back, you know, and then you can pop blizzard and point and get 5 people if you need to. But yeah, I think you're lucky to have caught this ram. In other words. Ooh, okay. Fine. Give him a sure. Fine. Fine. Sure. Okay. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. I don't mind you playing 4. I'm always, again, other coaches have disagree with me when I talk to this stuff about them. They really like holding close here, whereas I'm a lot more conservative. I like playing distance and I like playing to bait for the point. How do I phrase this in a certain way? What might a plan for you guys if you wanted to hold close here? What would be? I can't speak. If you want to hold close here, what would be the intention? What would you want to
debate
do?
out ults.
Yes, right. So maybe here you hold closer with your Zarya, you ward off the Mei and the Ram. That forces the Kiriko to Kitsune, and then you leave immediately. And then you just cheat out an ult for free, and you've got your own Kitsune and Vei on point. That would be a nice thing to do. The issue with playing point here specifically, or like fighting here, is they can get Kitsune on point, and then it's gonna become like a harder fight to win based off of that. So I'm curious to see what happens here. Because Zarya's playing pretty far up. Yeah, she's coming back early, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Kitsune early there. Are you guys gonna match? I'll talk about that wall in a moment. Okay, the wall's the kite. Okay, sure. I mean, yeah, I'd say wall's the kite. So I think the wall at the kite is smart. But why are you kiting in this direction here instead of back here?
Honestly, I think I just got caught on the wall backing up.
Okay, yeah.
And I was just like, oh, whoops.
I kind of suspected as much. But it's a good kite. Okay. Oh, your Zarya can't be fighting there. So, yeah, this is less so on you, but I think when you're repushing, so your Zarya is looking to repush this after the walls gets broken, your Kiri needs to Kirish on point, and then you can Vei back. But, yeah, not particularly great from your Zarya there, or from your Kiriko. Because now your Zarya is going to get low. Yeah, it gets crit HP there. Okay. Yeah, just way too late. Support's also way too late, so I'm not going to cry you for that too much. And again, a lot of this stuff so far is like macro, like it's less to do with your kit and less to do with like how to min-max you know, your walls or your cryos or whatever. It's more so to do with the ult state of the fight, because that's what's going to dictate whether you win or lose this fight. So yeah, I'm just thinking on your behalf, like the responsibility that you can take in terms of calling this stuff, because I think especially with Blizzard, where you want a long fight to Blizzard and point. Same thing with Simwall too, where I think you use Simwall. If I remember first fight on first point, your Simwall wasn't great. I think these kind of things can inform your mindset about how you want to use the rest of your ults too, because yeah, I think the wall was great. But yeah, if you tell me, were you planning to wall off the Kitsune here anyways?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. The plan was always to just wall and kite the Kitsune, but I don't think we were necessarily planning to take the fight so aggressively
Yeah,
afterwards, which
yeah.
is why it caught us so off guard.
So some coaches will call this holding their grounds, where you can't kite forever. You can't leave S key out the entire fight. You need to match back and actually hold your ground and fight. And I think that's the second half to baiting that people forget. Is the actual fighting part, where sure you've done your job, you've got a good wall, you baited out the ultimate. It's now time to stand your ground and fight, and I think that's something that even super high level players don't quite understand. As a quick sort of, I guess, theory point as well, if you want to go close, where might you want to play?
I guess there's like we could go up to the server rooms instead.
Yeah, I was actually not wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, you could maybe play in the server room and then rotate around and then try and play fast with the Blade of Kitsune. That could work like a charm. I was also thinking you can actually play here and then have a crossfire with you and your Zarya, and then you're fighting here essentially. That's where you pop your Kitsune. Maybe your Genji can flank around with Blade too, and then this is your kill box here essentially. If you wanted to play fast, but again, as we talked about many a time, that's not something that your team have the ultimates to do or the comp to do. So yeah, I actually really like your positioning here. But yeah, okay, we'll look at the next fight. You just actually win that, which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, have to blow everything there. They've got. Oh, this is gonna be a rough last fight. Let me tell you. Yeah, I mean, Blizzard, Orbital Ray, Annihilation, and Symbol. Like, you guys are losing this. There's just no way. And your Zarya's dead. Your Zarya's dead too, so you can't even bait. You can't even bait because your team's not back yet. Yeah, this is gonna be rough. Yeah, okay, kite back, wall away, fine, good. Where might you want to rotate to from here?
Through to White Room and just
Yes, try and get some dinks, try and get some icicles, try and get a pick onto the sim, etc. Right, widen the map. It's something that we haven't really talked about that much because Sim and Mei aren't that mobile of characters. But considering your team have got more mobility with the Genji, that's something that again you guys want to be doing as well, and the Kiriko's will mind you, is to widen your angle here. And it's something that again, if you're playing Cassidy or any other character in the game, I would be saying this as well. So, do you do that? Let's see. You do not. No. You full Blizzard here, right? For the grab, okay. I mean that works. Like that works too. I guess the question here is like, I assume you didn't take this angle here because you wanted to walk forward for Blizzard here, right?
I was actually walking forward because Zarya said they were gonna grab, and I wanted to be in range.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get at that point there was like you can still.
Yeah, I should have just gone around. Still, it's
Right.
safer, and
You can have your
I
pick
could have
if you need
dinked
to.
on the way there.
Yeah, you can stay here and then again walk forward with the spray. I'm actually shocked doing that fight, to be honest. I think it's because they blew their sports too early.
Also, just all five getting caught in grab. It's
And that
real
is
rough.
also, yeah. They just run it down main. Not even that works well. And that's probably map. Yeah. Okay. Have you got another code? Because you've got a few minutes. Maybe we'll have a sneak peek at that.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Copy paste. All right. Let's see here. Megan. Sure. Okay. Sure. Okay, great start. I was looking at support enemy comp. What are you thinking about when you're playing this comp into the enemy team's comp? There's two things I'm looking for.
Trying not to burn too many cooldowns on the dives is, but still surviving them is the main thing.
Yeah. I think their comp's very weird because their only two mobile characters are Tracer and Winston here. I think the main things are going to be when the Winston jumps in, because he will jump in on your backline eventually or something. Then look to zone off the Sojourn with wall, and especially this is really important when you're playing Mei into comps that aren't that easy to like get a good split wall with. It's blocking LOS and creating 5v4s, creating 5v3s, and again just blocking LOS and trying to take that advantage.
I think my plan here was initially. Our team was going to play up where Ram was, besides me, and then when they got dove by the monkey, I was gonna try and wall the monkey up with them,
Right.
to try and burn him. But they all they all backed off, so we just had our Ram up there baiting.
Yeah. I would expect again your team to play more of a range style, even though they're running pocket with a Sojourn. If your team can live the Tracer Winston, you guys will be fine, and you can be the one to sort of help your team do that by just hitting crazy dinks into the Trace, obviously, but also zoning off a Sojourn with your wall. So hopefully they find their footing, and we can see a cycle of that. Okay, I can see you're thinking there. I think that wall's reasonable. They're getting back from spawn anyways, so I'm fine with that wall. We'll get it back eventually. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. What's the purpose of that wall?
I was just trying to split heals from the Ram, but the Kiriko just goes up with them.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
not the Ram, the Winston.
Right. My main concern with that is your Ram's gonna leave the high ground anyways, and I would actually be looking when the Winston jumps. I need to be looking for the Tracer and for the Sojourn, because your Ram's gonna be fine. So the Sojourn goes to high ground, which is fine. But here, I honestly don't even think you need to use wall. I think you can just save it for the V-push, or save it for point, and you can just go back and play point, and that's fine. Because I doubt that wall's going to get much value. Yeah, not look like it's doing much. Okay, nice dink. Okay, and like now, when the Winston jumps, right, now you can see a wall here, blocks off the Sojourn, Kiri, and Mercy, and that creates a temporary 5v2 for you to clear the Tracer and the monkey, right? Then that wall becomes a lot more useful. But unfortunately, I think it's still on cooldown, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's still in 3-second cooldown, so that's my main concern. Yeah. Oh, this is a weird position. Why do you... How do I phrase this? I mean, you haven't got a wall, so that's why you don't wall the Sojourn. Can't really ask that. Why do you go back here? Or why do you not get the point? Why do you not keep threatening the Sojourn here? Because you're not really at any threat. Your HP is still decent. You've got a good amount of distance. You've got good cover. Sojourn's not looking at you, so you're not taking any visual aggro. Why not stay here and contest the Sojourn? He's clearly the most dangerous person on their team.
I think my thought process was that there was going to probably be a dive onto our backline, so I wanted to try and pressure out their front line as fast as possible.
I think that's fair. I think my not even concern, but like again, you can combine all those ideas aren't mutually exclusive. So again, had you had wall here, you could just wall the Sojourn and then spend the rest of your time poking the Winston, poking the Tracer, threatening the Tracer, etc. Because again, for 4 or 5 seconds, your team's got a 5v2 to clear out their front line. So I think that's reasonable. To like change target priority here. I guess my extension from that is you can still threaten the Winston and the Tracer by staying here. You haven't got to jeopardize your own position and stack main by giving up your angle. And actually, if I zoom out and press play, your team is stacked in one line. You know, like it's really not great. So that's my main concern. If I go to their team's POV, they're starting to swing wide and start to take angles a lot more here. So yeah, I would like to see you keep your own angle here, like around about, like literally like here, and then threaten the like this Kiriko's like card feeding here. Just stay here, shoot the Kiriko. If you get dove, you can wall yourself off, and then cryo if you need to, and then you should be okay. But yeah, like you should be winning the front. You should not be giving up this. The amount of space you're giving up here should be what their front line are giving up essentially. Because again, your front line should be able to win this trade. Okay, I think here you just happen to be in a dueling distance against the Kiriko. I'm not gonna cry you too much for losing this duel here because she just wall climbed up here and you were already half HP, so I'm not gonna cry you too much for that. But yeah, my main concern is that wasted wall and the giving up of the position. So yeah, and again, look at your RAM too. You know, like you could have actually hit back here if you needed to, and then re-push with your RAM, and then these guys are super close to you. But yeah, okay, we'll do a quick summary here at the end. I guess by far the main thing has to be like your mindset, with your with what's your job slash role or function is against the enemy comp. So for example, again, when playing Sim Czar or Sim with a solo tank or any Zarya comp really, it's to bait, play the prolonged fights, and help your and yeah, also repush with TP and beam frontline. And then when you're playing Mei versus Tracer, Winston plus Soj, it's zoning off the Soj with wall, and then forcing out Tracer, Winston with your gun, which clearly you've done pretty decently by just dinking the Tracer, which works. Second thing I say to that, I mean, this is by far the most important thing. Second thing I say is a little bit of your greed / tunnel vision, which links into the first point. Because you were never playing a comp that played for super fast or hard gauges. And what else? A little bit more distance. Distance with beam the Sims. So I think we saw that on first point, also second point, Lijiang, where you were beaming the enemy Ramatra, but you almost died multiple times because your Orisa was just super far back. And this kind of leads me on to like another point here that I guess I can link into this point too. Actually, you know what? No, I'll leave that open there. I'll say third point here is contextual positioning. So we spoke about Mei on third, for example, when you might want to hold close, as well as I guess confidence with going deeper with TPs. Funnily enough, you did this on third point. Like you literally zoned 3 people on third point. Also on second point rather, on Lijiang Gardens. But then on the first point, you were too scared to put a TP on top of the Ana while Zarya was pushing in. So I think a little bit more confidence with that would make sense. But then obviously yeah, links back into 2. Also 1 about TPing to zone backline while you beam frontline. But yeah, I guess all these 3 points kind of interlink with each other. I think mechanically you're more than okay. I think you're beyond this rank, to be honest, mechanically. I've got no issues there. It's really with where you're playing, while you're playing in a certain position, and how you're using your cooldowns based off of that. And it's all to do with your understanding of the game and your overall mindset. So yeah, any questions?
No, I think that's it.
Great. Well, again, if you do think of anything, then do feel free to